Smells very, very painty in here. Hey,
Hey!
look who that is.
100 yet? Is it day 100?
We are, today we did a combo. We're doing a combo, day 103 and 104. Super nice.
Super nice.
That's right. Super nice. Yes.
I did not
Yes.
get the fire department to come here.
That's right. That was not your fault. That was someone else's
Not my
fault.
fault.
Yeah. We have a problem. There is always three parts to a problem. First off, the actual problem itself. The problem we are facing today is this problem of lack of productivity in the midst of this pandemic. The second part to a problem is the solution, outlining steps to take care of the problem towards an active goal. The third part of a problem is the goal. Because the problem is lack of productivity in this pandemic, the goal is to be more productive. I wanted to take this vlog to share with you some things that I think are helpful to be productive during this pandemic. These will actually tie with our passage too, which is pretty cool. The first step in dealing with lack of productivity or laziness really begins the night before. The day for us starts in the morning, but the morning really hinges upon what happens the night before we go to bed. It's important that you go to bed at a reasonable hour. Give yourself anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes from the last time that you look at your screen to when you put your head on the pillow. It's really important that the night before gets started out well. The second step is shock yourself. I don't mean literally like go to an outlet and shock yourself, but do something to help you wake up right then and there. It could be making a cup of coffee. It could be taking a super cold, quick shower. Just shock yourself awake. The third step is seek intimacy with God. Spend time reading the Bible, spend time praying, just seeking the face of God. Let that be the first thing that you do in your day when you wake up. It's really important that you get dressed in the morning. It's really tempting to stay in their PJs and to be all cozy and, not get dressed as if you were to go out somewhere like go to work or go to school, but get dressed as if you were going to go somewhere that you usually would when you weren't in quarantine. The next thing, and this happens throughout the day, is eat healthy. We all like to eat, but we all don't necessarily like to eat healthy. It's important that you eat very nutritious as well as balanced meals. These will give you energy and boost your productivity throughout the day. The next step is work out. Do something every single day that gets your heart rate up at least for 45 minutes. You could be lifting weights, you can go outside and go on a run, even going on a walk, something like that will be huge to increase your productivity. The next step is call or text or FaceTime someone you know who is not in your immediate family or under the same roof as you during this time of quarantine. It's important that we get outside of ourselves, that we seek how we can love and serve those around us. And this is really great for the mental state to get through this time and to increase our productivity. And lastly, ration your entertainment, TV, phone time. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do things like watch Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever it is that you use, but it's important that we ration those times. You say, I'm going to watch just this one TV show, then I'm going to cut it off for the day, and I'm going to go do something else. We need to ration our entertainment intake, and we need to ration how much time we're spending on our phone, just staring at it, looking at those things. We all know the screen time on our phones has increased since this quarantine, so we really have to fight against this temptation to always be on our phones, and we need to ration that time well. So, like I said, today's passage really ties in with this idea of how do we take care of problems. So we're combining 2 days today. We're combining day 103 and 104. So day 103 covers the story of David and Nabal and Abigail, as well as when Saul is pursuing him, and the Ziphites tell Saul where David is. David spares Saul again like he did at En-Gedi. And then chapter 27 is when David flees to Gath to the Philistines, and they basically give him some land within their country. And then the Psalms that we are also looking at all correlate with this story and tell this story of how it is that we deal with problems. The Psalms are, The Psalms are 17, 35, 54, and 63. So like I said, chapter 25 of 1 Samuel is the story of Nabal, David, and Abigail. Nabal was a problem for David, and David was about ready to take matters into his own hands to solve the problem that came about due to Nabal's foolishness, but the Lord intervened, and we see that in this story. When Saul is pursuing David, we know from the Psalms that David, he seeks the Lord in this moment and is seeking for guidance, seeking for protection, and the Lord gives that to him, and the Lord gives David deliverance in this situation as David sought the Lord in dealing with this problem. Then chapter 27, it appears that David is more trying to solve a problem on his own when he goes to the Philistines because he's nervous about Saul coming against him to kill him, and they give him some land. But when you look at the Psalms that correspond to this, it is a lot of David seeking the Lord, trying to figure out what to do. God, will you deal with my enemies? Will you deliver me? That's a lot of the type of Psalms that David usually writes. It's actually really neat. In one of the Psalms, I think it's Psalm 35 and verse 13 through 14, even though David's enemies are coming against him and they're fighting him, he says that even if they are sick or something bad happens to them, that he would mourn them, that he would pray for them, which I thought was just a cool picture of even how Christ deals with us, that we are at one point the enemies of Christ. And instead of wiping us out, he saved us. Just awesome. But this idea of these different problems, and David was facing tons of problems in these 3 chapters. And it's very clear that these problems he was facing, only God was the one that could solve these problems. And it's true for us today, no matter how massive we feel like a problem is or even how small we think it is. God is the only one that can truly resolve the problems in our world and in our life today. And this has already been done. God solved the greatest problem humanity has ever faced, and it's the problem of sin. It's the problem of being separated from God. And God came down himself, wrapped himself in human flesh, died on a cross, rose from the grave, and as a result, as we put faith and belief in him, we are saved. We might have a number of steps, things that we can walk in to try to be productive during this quarantine time. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be how well you or I perform that's going to take care of any issues or problems we have in our life. It's going to be the Lord. It's going to be Christ working, moving within us, and ultimately it's wrapped up in what Christ has already done on the cross. That Jesus, in his death and his resurrection, has already taken care of the ultimate problem. We just have to trust the Lord and surrender to him and see Him work in our midst.